So we've got two massive updates. If you take a look at the top of the screen, you can see you got one for Benjamin Sisko and this one, which is literally dropped within the last 5 minutes of me starting this recording. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to add this in, but we're going to put that nearer the end of the video because it is something that is going to help PvP players. But let's jump into the first announcement, which was dropped yesterday, which is the new fleet commander, Benjamin Sisko. Yes, we're going to have a new fleet commander, and ideally this is going to be more, there's a massive part of this which is going to be focused for the G7 players rather than everyone else, but there is also some good stuff in there for G5 and G6. Now, I think there might be something that can go a little bit lower as well, but again, we'll have a look in the patch notes. So obviously, they're going to bring Benjamin Sisko in. As you can see, this is the outfit he wore in the Paler Shadows or something like that, where he coaxed the Romulans into the war, the way he worked with Garrick for the first time. The Starfleet officer, not the first one, of course, delving into the dark underworld of cloak and dagger, coercion, making a lie seem the truth. So, what's he going to bring for us? Well, obviously, as you can see here, it's going to be Ops 51 available for and higher. So it is going to benefit those loot efficiency. It's going to have some outpost specializing, let's get these words right, specializing in outpost combat, loot efficiency, and also providing hybrid benefits that's going to benefit both PvE and PvP. Obviously, he's also equipped with a powerful active ability, which is written by the victors, which is that thing. Let me get that thing right up there. I don't know why I put that screenshot right up there, like, but hey-ho. So this is going to be his new active ability, which you will be able to activate. And of course, as well, as per usual, he's also going to have the three skill trees. So if we just, do apologize, I'm learning OBS as I go and being able to do this actually without adding screenshots in editing. So, 3 skill trees, Tactician, Combat, and Mechanic, brings meaningful depth and flexibility to any fleet. Any fleet. Obviously, his community leader skill enhances his further usefulness by increasing G7 uncommon station cost efficiencies. So this is really going to help those G7 players. G7 obviously completely gated by paywall stuff for just even getting to Ops 73. I mean, I think our only free-to-play player, James Bond, is 72 now. But again, is he going to be able to push through 73? Well, this officer is definitely going to give him the ability. Now, what I will just say as well is there is going to be day one sourcing, but whether it's not going to be one of those quick instant ones. So let's have a quick look at the skill trees then. So we've got Tactician skill tree, which is built for the outpost encounters and fleet combat. It's going to boost weapon damage, isolating offense and defense, apex barrier, and apex shred as well, helping your ships with the toughest outposts and retaliation attackers. Activate the ability written by the victors, instantly repairs hull health of nearly all deployed ships. So that's going to be a big one. So here it is then, active ability, giving you that 25% hull health boost. Now, if this is multi-layered, which I think it is, this is going to be the top level. This is not going to be a straight flat 25%. This is going to be, you're going to have to be a bit yeah, you're going to have to level it up, I think. I am going to throw that in there, I think. It says not active during combat. So again, this won't affect any other ships out there. This is going to be all those that are deployed and in outposts. So to me, that doesn't make an awful lot of sense, but I'm sure it does. I'm sure somebody's going to explain it to me in the comments. So guess what? Drop it in the comment section down below. I've got no problems with people correcting me. Next one is height when on duty. Now, obviously, remembering the height on duty, if we actually just bring up a fleet commander. Oh, yeah, sorry, we're running incursions right now at the time of recording. So, and It's only it's only 4 hours into it. So if we jump into Fleet Commanders, and we're going to actually look at one of the ones behind me. Well, in fact, tell you what, any one of these that's got these gold things up here, they are always on abilities, even if they're down here. So if we look at Spock down here, one of the older fleet commanders in the game, and you can see on the side here, we've got all these as well. So passive one here, mining rate increase for the materials, always on. So you're getting that boost regardless of whether he's in a seat or he's not. Now, just bearing in mind as well, there are seats locked. I currently have 3 that I don't have unlocked. I've got all the free to play that I get. I think there's actually one more, but I need a higher syndicate. But there is also one coming. A little bit more on that a little bit later on in the video. So let's jump back into this, and we can see some of the other things that we've also got. These are always on. We've got 2 always on and the rest are on duty. Remember, on duty, they do need to be sat in that seat. So always on is determination, increasing isolated damage against hostiles, G5 and above, for G5 faction hostile, non-armada, for faction ships. So your ship is going to receive isolated damage increased by 15%. Again, not flat, it's these are multi-layered. Always on as well, increasing your hull health for your ships, your faction ships, by up to 1500%. Why up to is not written there to be specific, but hell, if it's an always on and it's a level 1 and it gives you that 1500%, that, excuse me, that's going to be brilliant. Next up, we've got a pile of on duties for this tree as well. Line must be drawn, increasing apex shred against the Cardis. So the Cardassian outposts and the retaliation attackers on there by 100%. So bearing in mind that these have got apex shred, that's the barrier. These have got an apex barrier increase. I'm trying to remember because I don't really run the Cardassians or the Klingon ones. I just run the Borg ones usually. On the start of combat as well, critical damage when above 50%. You can't outrun it. Increasing your whole on start, increasing your critical damage. I will get my words out. I will slow down. I need to slow down. Non-armada hostiles by 200%, but your hull must be above 50%. Once it drops below 50%, not going to be much cop to you. Emissary then, while on duty, increasing weapon damage against outposts and the retaliation attackers by 600%. So again, when you're doing outposts, that can actually be a big boost. It is 600%. It seems like an awful lot to low level G5, but when you're in G6, G7, yeah, I don't think it's really as much, but it's still beneficial. It will still stack with everything else that you've done in your research. So just bear that in mind. Battle of War 359. We all know where Sisko came from. That's the start of his story in Star Trek. The Battle of War 359 aboard the Saratoga as first officer, losing his wife, and him and his son escape just before the Saratoga is destroyed. Not by the warp core breach, but by a Borg weapon. So, increasing isolated defense against the outposts and retaliations. So, this one obviously is aimed, as it says, against the Borg ones. So, which is going to be great. 3000%. Massive, massive. I'm struggling without using the buffs or anything to actually complete the level 56s. I'm thinking it might be macroing options as well. But that 3000%, that's way more than the actual buff on the Borg outpost. So take it as you will. That will literally mitigate a hell of a lot of isolated damage. Way of the Warrior, increasing weapon damage for G5 faction ships by up to 1200%. Remember, I'm going to reiterate this again. These are multi-layered. These will need to be leveled up. Destiny catches up. Increasing apex barrier when you fall below 50% against non-armada hostiles by 2,000. So remember, for every 10,000 apex barrier is 1 full extra hull. So this is only giving you 20% extra hull. That is it. So if you're killing 10 hostiles in 1 hull, it's going to mean you can kill 12. That's it. 10,000 means if you're killing 10 hostiles, you can now kill 20. That is how apex barrier works. So here's a Cardi elite solo outposts. Yes, extra stuff, content being mentioned. Elite outposts are coming. We knew this was coming, but here we go. We've got more confirmation of it. Next up then, the next skill tree is the combatant. This is a PvP specialization. So it's going to increase whole health, reduce critical damage and weapon damage, trigger barriers with the states as well. And as well is suited to amplify power of the status control team officers. Remember, control team officers. Let's jump back into the game briefly. And we'll show you the control officers. So scroll all the way down. And we want here. So there you go. Control team of status control team. So it's like this particular officer here, the hierarchy, and who was the other one? Nog. So he's also status control. That little boy there. Yeah. Aaron Eisenberg, rest in peace, my boy. Well, he wasn't exactly a boy, was he? He was definitely a man when he was filming. So, but anyway, so jumping back over them. Not Discord, sorry, I don't want the Discord. That's what I want. So, on duty then, command presence, increasing resistance against the ball cutting beam. In PvP, remember, so someone fires the ball cutting beam at you, you can reduce your increase your resistance against it by 50%. So what that's going to translate into, how much damage reduction there is, I don't know. I would say 50% because that's logically yeah, let's not go with logic on this one. Next up, tactical acumen. I might have got that wrong, but increasing critical damage by 200% for 1 round if the enemy has any state. Then obviously we've got all these as well. Always on tactical prowess, increasing apex power against players by 5,000. So again, that's half your hull, just half your hull. I'm not going to go through them all because you can clearly see on this. You can clearly get the access to these. And by the time I've recorded this, you've probably already read through all this anyway. So, but there's a lot here as well to do with apex power against players. We're using the actual states as well, and some isolated damage against non-armada hostiles. So that's a good one. That's a PvE one in a PvP category. So what you got here, increases base shield health here for faction ships. And then weapon damage for 10 rounds by 1,000%. So that does kind of seem nice. Here's your Borg Elite Solo Outpost too. And then finally aiming at your mechanic. Now this is the one that the G7 players are going to love. So increasing some cost efficiency for G7 uncommon materials. Improving the mining speed, cargo capacity and outpost rewards. So again, this will still benefit even for like the G5 players. While the outpost... while boosting faction reputation gains as well. So, always on then, community leader, increasing the uncommon materials cost efficiency by up to 300%. So that's going to be nice. That's something I think, I'm not 100% sure, but if and when you've unlocked Sisko before G7, I'm not 100% sure you will be able to do that particular one before Ops 71. So guess what? Chance to build up some of the skill points. So when it activates, we go 71, boom, 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 get it done. That would be my best advice. Frontier Command. This is one that G5 players are going to be wanting to look at, especially for going after those early outposts, and you haven't got the building to level 40. Remember, the building, the control center, has to be level 40 before you can go to 3 ships. You start off with 2. This is going to give you that extra ship to actually play with. So this is going to be one that I'm definitely going to be working towards as fast as possible. And then obviously we've got a load of stuff as well. Increasing the cargo supplies, mining rate, protected cargo, increasing material mined by 30% without depleting the node. So basically, as some of the stuff that we've had coming to the game so far, that when you finish mining, you just suddenly get an extra amount of loot on mined stuff on top of it, if you've got space in your cargo bay. I can't remember if it works if you've got a full cargo bay, but if it does, please drop it in, let me know in the comments down below. Faction reputation as well, as you can see, increased by 100%. Solo outpost credits, so that's going to be nice. That's going to help you in the refinery. Also, the components as well. Obviously, it looks like there's going to be some new epic ones coming in. At the minute, we've got the common, uncommon, and rares, but here we go. We have the Soul Epic apparently coming in, so that's most likely going to be for coming out of those elite, and then increasing the medals and the plunder by 200%. And there's your Klingon one. So that is Sisko in a nutshell. Nice and easy, pretty simple, giving you some boost. Now let's just have a quick look at some of the refinery, because some of the things, if you are watching this and you're not G5 yet, you might not be 100% familiar with it. But outposts, as you can see here, you've got this particular one here, which will bring rare outpost control cores down to into the common. But it actually said credits, didn't it? It said credits. Did it say credits? I'm now confused. I've confused myself. Haha! What's new? No, components. Outpost components. So jumping back here then. So that's going to be these ones right here. So here's your uncommon one, and obviously you use the rares to bring down, and then obviously going into here you can bring the trade down of uncommons into commons. So it looks like you with the elite ones you're going to be getting some epics, so they're probably going to be a new shiner. Now speaking of the refinery as well, let me find the right, here it is. Oh, monkeys. Right, let me just lock off all the other one, because then it will stop me from being able to move them. I've got a load in here. So right, so let's make this a little bit bigger. So as you can see as well, an extra hint, we're getting Esri. We are getting Esri, who's going to form part of this team. So what ability is she going to have? We will have to check the patch notes out on Tuesday. Also, as you can see here, we've got some skill points for Sisko. There is going to be some Sigma commander credits as well. And as you can see right on the end here, this is a screenshot I've pulled. There is going to be plunder for a new fleet commander slot. Yes, it's going to give you another slot. So that's going to appear somewhere in around about, oh hello, let me get this off the screen, somewhere around here as well. Now how much of the shard's going to be for Sisko, because it's most likely going to be in here to get him with day one sourcing, I do not know, but it does sound, from what I've heard, it's going to be a lengthy process to actually get him, not as fast as what Khan was. So we don't have to, so we're not going to have to worry about that. Now, while we've got a little bit of time, let's jump into the next one. It's not a big one. It's literally just pretty much this. They are changing the Hierarch's command maneuver from increasing shots by 120% for 2 rounds on the start against players if they have any state, to increasing shots by 120% for 2 rounds against players. Notice what I didn't say in there. States. Further up, I think I've got enough space in my hand, in my screen, sorry. Near the top, if the opponent has any state, is being removed. Pretty much, that is it. That is it. They're just removing that ability, so this officer will proc in PvP. Now, why is this understanding activation order? Every combat round follows a strict sequence, as we Rev Juice has done a video on. I'm going to rewatch it and also do one for my channel as well, so for my viewers you'll get to see it, but if not, go check out Rev Juice's. But as you can see, the commander maneuvers evaluate their conditions first. Officer abilities activate immediately afterwards. So if your command officer has an ability that requires your ship to be hit, it will not proc until you've actually taken damage. However, if it procs at the start of combat, well, guess what? It starts combat. This one starts at the start of combat. So not a problem. So at the minute, as it currently stands, obviously it checks to see if it has any state. If it finds none, she does not proc. She won't proc. However, the officer ability has a chance to proc an ability, but then the command ability doesn't activate till round 2 because the command ability is done first. Then it goes to the officers. This is the structure of how it works. And then obviously moving on. Now another bug fix as well. By removing this conditional requirement from the captain's maneuver, the captain's maneuver will activate regardless of state, whether they've got one or they haven't. And the officer ability of combat in round 1 will match expectations. So I'm guessing this wasn't working very well. So, and obviously it is literally down to player feedback that they're actually doing this. So that is the ability. Now, I want to throw in a couple of extra screenshots here. So let's lock that one off, unlock this one. This is the area that we are going to see these new elites. So obviously just tacked onto the end of this system here. I can't see what system that is. Hang on, let me make it way bigger so I can see it. Oh, it's a level 70 system. So guess what? Most of us don't need to worry about these leaks. They are going to be a G7 problem. So thanks very much, Scopely. Next up is going to be this one, which is one of the outposts as well. I think that one, yeah, that was another outpost as well. So yeah, there it is. So that's all there is for these announcements. Sisko coming in as an actual, I don't know why I'm stupid. I'm trying to click on OBS to actually bring this back up. But no, Sisko's going to be, I think he's going to be a well received when you can actually unlock him. But this is definitely going to encourage, with that cost efficiency for G7, encourage a bit of spending to get him. But again, this has got some help towards PvP as well as PvE and mining. So can't complain. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to cash out, get this sorted out and get it up. But until then, I'm Admiral Pegasus. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, live long and prosper. I shall catch you on the next one. Until next time, guys, take care. Goodbye.